girls be getting into it with each other.
Oh,
This is a
God.
whole different circle. I'm like, it's because you need a gay there. You need a gay there because look at
everybody.
a girl is not gonna let another girl check her. No.
Right.
And then a woman is not gonna let another a man check her. No, she needs a gay guy to check her. And once a gay guy checks her, a lot of times the response is different. That's just my opinion. Like they know how to like, okay, we're gonna talk about it, and at least you get that. But if you don't have a gay and you have a girl, then it's gonna be a whole fucking mess.
I mean, I guess I get it, but I feel like my girls and I can attest to that. We love the gays, but like you don't need a gay to handle that situation because
Never too shy.
Hi.
hello.
Sorry, I was
Hey,
looking
you're
my,
here. You're
I was,
present.
I was looking at my lollipop, but at the same time, I was looking at our affirmation or what? Yeah.
I feel like you guys are prepped for the affirmation. You've got yours on your phone.
That's right. I have mine.
I know Marco said a word that he's like, remind me. He's just all he did was text a word, and then he's like, remind me for my affirmation. I was like, okay.
I'm glad you remembered. I didn't remember. He said to remind us.
I didn't remember until right now.
yeah.
Good job, Paulina.
Thank
My
you.
affirmation changes throughout like the week. You know what I mean? I don't know if
Yeah,
that happens
Same.
with you guys.
Oh, by the hour.
Me too. Because like there are times, like let's say it's like Saturday or Sunday, and like I'll think of an affirmation or I'll see it and I'll be like, "Ooh, this is good." But then yesterday I saw something or somebody said something. No, somebody posted this on Facebook and I was like, "Yo!" So I'm like switching my affirmation. So whatever I say today, I stole off of somebody's Facebook.
Me, it's like I'm going through
Good
shit
for you.
like always. I'm going through shit and I'm like, okay, this is my affirmation. And then I go through something else and then that's
Yeah.
my affirmation. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Well, that's the point of it, right? Like our affirmation is a reflection of the week we had or the week we want, the day we had. It's not like we're just randomly Googling, like, what can I say today? Because then it's ingenuine.
Oh.
At least I don't just randomly look.
Yeah.
Like all my affirmations have meaning.
That's right.
Sure.
They have meaning.
Meaning.
I love it. Well, I'm Paulina,
I'm Tati.
I'm Nestor.
and producer Marco's here.
Yep.
And you already know we are back with our affirmations. And then today we've got some interesting topics to cover. A little bit of kind of one of our last episodes playing off of I finally watched the Wendy Williams documentary. I think there was like 2 out. I watched one of them.
There's
was
a couple of them,
Hulu
yeah.
special and a
Yes.
Lifetime special.
There's like a 4-part one and then there's
That's
like
Lifetime.
yeah.
I
So she watched Hulu.
Yes, I watched a Hulu one, and I learned so much about her. And I'm actually kind of embarrassed to say that I didn't really know, because I think Nestor came in here last time, literally telling me she worked for like the same like sister station that I worked for. I didn't know that. Like all these things.
So she did?
Yeah, she did.
Okay,
and
you
I
see?
was like, no, and he
You
came
owe
in
me
here-
$20.
I know, right?
He did say that. He did say, if I'm right, you owe me 20. He did
I'm
say
like,
that.
you owe me $20.
I gotta
Yeah,
give you
he
$20. But no, you were right. There's a lot of things we were right about. And honestly, like, it's interesting because, like, I guess now we'll talk more about this in a minute, but like looking at her life now, it's like I truly like think my respect level has gone up for her since watching this, since watching the documentary. But we're gonna get into that as well. And then of course, kind of spinning off of that, I want to talk about like social media, the presence that, you know, everybody brings to social, right? We talked about like, is it really authentic? Is it really who we are? That's kind of what you had mentioned too one time.
Yeah.
When we were kind of prepping for the show. It's a very interesting topic, so I want to dive into all of it. But
Yes.
before we do, who's starting with
in.
affirmations?
I could start off because it's right here.
Okay, do it.
So my affirmation is what you do frequently becomes your frequency.
Like that?
Like that,
That was cute.
Shout out to whoever's Facebook I stole that from. But what you do frequently becomes your frequency.
I like that.
Yo, that's like fire. It's almost like your actions speak for you. Like what you do often is a representation of who you are. So if you say like, "Oh my God, I'm the sweetest person ever," but your actions don't match that, are you really?
Yeah, that reminds me of something that I always tell my brother is the way you do one thing is the way you'll do anything. I don't know why that just kind of reminded me of
I
that.
like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, because sometimes people think like you can do one thing one way and the other thing another way and it's going to be, but I feel like a person is going to show you who they are every single
Over
time.
and over. Yeah, thank you. It's almost like when people show you who they are, the first time,
Believe
them.
Yeah.
Stop giving people benefit of the doubt.
Oh, I'm so guilty of that.
No,
shit.
me too.
I'm
Like
so
I
guilty.
am so guilty of that.
But then we always try to give people second chance.
Yeah, no, that's
But yeah.
I love
no
it.
mas.
Nestor, you want to go next?
Yeah, I'll go next. I was trying to choose if you guys don't know, again, like I'm always excusing myself because if I'm on my phone, it's because I'm looking at like what I want to say. Okay, I think today I wanna say this one. You could have been anything and you chose to be a hater.
I've seen that somewhere before.
Like to me,
Clap it with my shoe.
Right.
and it's not. I think honestly, like I wanted to say that from the perspective of
A hater? I'm just kidding.
like yeah, no, yeah.
I'm kidding.
Sometimes I feel like it's so easy to say this when people are hating on you and you sense it. You know what I'm
for
saying?
sure.
But I think it's so easy when that hate, not hate, but like that jealousy or envy like rises on you. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like for me, I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? That's what they say. I only want what's for me. And then it's like celebrate other people. I posted a video today of those Indian girls. I think they're Indian. I hope they are Indian. But they're like singers. And I feel like you guys have
Are
seen
they
it.
like indigenous or
No, they're Indian. They're
or-
Indian.
Okay.
They're
I don't
Indian.
know.
India.
That's what I'm
They're
saying.
from India. Sorry.
Okay, I just want to be
That's what I meant to say.
politically.
But
clear,
in the
whatever.
video, it shows it's I didn't post.
See, we need to start. pulling
But
up
basically in
videos
the
on
video,
TVs.
they're like in like some sort of like awards or whatever, and the two girls are like receiving an award, and you could see like it shows some of like the footage in the background, and you could see the one of the girls that presenting the award, she's like kind of like put offish, and then also probably some other woman or other girl that was in the like kind of competing, I guess, for the same award.
They were also nominated.
Also off-putting. So that also reminded me of that. You know, a lot of times just celebrate people. Like it's so nasty
It's
to
free.
Yeah, it's so nasty
Don't
to
cost you
keep like
anything.
any sense of like hate or like envy for anybody else. And so yeah.
So real.
I agree.
That is so real. All right, my affirmation for today. Mine, I think, is never judge a book by its cover. Very cliche. We've all heard this probably in a million different ways. And it kind of goes back, I think, for me, this kind of, it speaks to Tati. And the reason I'm bringing you up is because but I love it for you. I do.
Okay.
No, it's a good thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So like I've had maybe like honestly like 4 people. I want to say, I'm making that up. I don't know if it's 4. I'm not like really counting, but like I've had a couple people. I think like maybe in the beginning of like meeting you via this podcast, did not fuck with you on any level.
I think all of my
And-
girls don't like her.
They still don't like her,
They don't like her.
and it's not
in the
just Tati
no,
at all.
it's
I
not
wanna
dissing her.
I want to get into
in the
what I mean.
setting that we're in.
Yeah.
they don't like her, and I'm like, chill, like it's a conversation. And a lot of times it's
Really?
mirroring who they are.
Oh, okay.
I would say that, but go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say I want you to go back in that. So mine's a little opposite. I'm really happy because like I've had a handful of like friends and people, like one of my besties. He like didn't like want to cancel you in the beginning about your mommy comment or whatever it was at that time because he's
Yeah.
not a mom, but I
Throwing
don't
people
know
under the
if
bus.
he was like a big fan of you either, like in the sense of like and this is a good thing on your end because you're a woman who speaks her mind, and that's honestly rare in today's society world. And when anytime a woman speaks fucking period, you're gonna get backlash. I mean, you could breathe, you're gonna get backlash.
Period.
But I love that I've seen a lot of people like kind of come around to you, and like that makes me so happy because I'm like, yes, this is like the girl that I know, and this is like the cool ass chick that like I wanted a part of the podcast, and sometimes you gotta say what's on your mind, and if it's polarizing, it's polarizing. But
Yeah.
I just like wanted to take that moment to remind people not to judge a book by its cover, because I've done that where I met somebody and I'm like, oh, I don't like her. Like she said this or she comes off that way. And like, turns out they're like the coolest chick ever. So like, I just want to encourage people to like kind of do that because like, to me, it's like, I don't bring bad people around my circle. So
Yeah,
I'm
of
just
course.
like, to me, I was very happy. I was talking to my best friend about it. And he's like, yeah, she's cool because he's actually friends with the guy you went on a date on with. So I heard about the date.
Damn, we're just like throwing all that out.
I know, right? I heard about your date, so I was like, she's a cool chick.
I'm very honest though.
Yeah.
I was very honest.
you are honest. Yeah.
I was very nice person.
I think what
Good
happens.
soul.
They were very nice. I didn't have anything mean to say about them.
I
It's
think
just
No, you didn't.
there
You
was
didn't.
no like.
Nothing.
I think what
I'm
happens.
not gonna waste nobody's
What
time.
ha-
And that's okay.
What happens
totally.
with Tati? It's a lot of people that don't like her. Again, what I was saying is because they mirror who she is.
Yeah, dive into that.
A lot of them are like women. The ones that I know that had the same opinion of her is because they also have like a very strong opinion.
Oh,
They're
okay.
like those. But I mean, like one of them, right? One time, like I was out in public and like I had to go do an event or something like that, and I got super drunk, and that same like way of her that she's so strong and opinionated, she kind of like was protecting me because I remember this when I was drinking, I got so drunk where like I was just didn't know what the fuck I was on,
shoot.
and she protected me, and so the same way that she's strong and sometimes it's off-putting to somebody, like at the same time that same strength is there's something beautiful about that, you know what I mean? And
100%.
a lot of times they just don't like her because of that. But I think
Listen.
with those type of
Kanye
personality,
shrug.
with those type of personalities, sometimes like you might,
Yeah.
and I don't think they might not be friends with her, but
Yeah, that's fine.
I
And
think,
that's okay.
But I think what's gonna happen is you're gonna respect her, and that's the
That's
thing,
it.
and that's the thing. Like with people like that, you're not gonna
Facts.
like her, but you're gonna respect her, and I think
Tati's like
That's all we
that.
need.
Yeah, but see okay, so here's the thing about me, right? Like I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and that's totally fine. Other people are not my cup of tea, and that's fine. I'm not gonna go out of my way to be fake, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to be rude. Like if you're somebody I just don't feel like I vibe with, then I just don't vibe with
It's
you.
crazy.
But I'm not gonna be a mean girl, but I'm not
No.
gonna be fake. I'm just
No.
gonna like it's
how
fine.
do you? I have a question. You just brought the fake part up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I looked at somebody's story the other day, and I seen how like a group of people that don't like each other were hanging out, and I'm like, and I was like,
That happens all the time.
it happens all the time, and I was
crazy.
like, how do you guys do that? Like you guys talk shit about each other all the time, and now you guys are cool. So like,
It's
what
because-
is it? What is? Am I not a
It's
fucking
because I think a
adult?
lot of people don't have the bravery or the guts to speak up how they really feel because they're afraid that other people won't be friends with them by speaking up against somebody. I'm assuming.
But then they're fake, no?
I-
What do you call it? Fake?
Fuck yeah, I would call it fake. I mean, I know firsthand. I've seen it. Like I've seen somebody be very rude publicly to somebody, and later other people were trying to console that person, calling, texting that person, agreeing that the person who did that is not a good person, but they're still friends with that person or
'Cause, like-
around, but they're talking shit about that person. And I'm reading the messages. I'm there with my friend while she's getting phone calls. So I'm like, wow,
'Cause
you're
I
talking
feel-
mad shit about this person, but you're gonna be with them.
Because I feel like, for example, let's give an example. When me and Tati, when we first started doing the podcast,
Yeah.
I feel like we kind of like aired that between me and you. Like we
Yeah.
aired it out, and I feel
Yeah.
like I
Aired
think
what
that's what
out?
people like.
Like problems?
Our-
No, not like
our
it's just that
different-
we were so different. It felt like every episode we were just clashing
or
and clashing.
But then we started talking about it. Like,
Yeah.
yo, in the beginning, I didn't really like.
Yeah,
We-
we were like about each other.
and we talked.
Really?
Yeah, we talked.
Yeah, we
girl,
talked
you
about
were
it on
there.
the podcast.
I was there.
You were there.
Yeah, and that like we ended up spending time together, just us.
Uh-huh.
And then
we,
we're
I
like,
think we were
wow.
intentional about that
Yeah.
too. And then also though, but it's like
Oh.
so when I see that and people like it's one thing, okay, so you already don't like each other, right?
Yeah,
So one, I feel like the way I would handle that would be like, I'm gonna air it out. I'm not gonna be rude, but I'm gonna talk about it. But what you're not gonna do is you're not gonna catch me posting something with you, knowing that I don't like you. Or do you think
that makes
it's
sense?
No,
No,
that's fair.
that makes perfect sense. But
Or do you think it's just me being?
No, it makes perfect sense, but unfortunately, that's not the reality because I genuinely think some people gravitate towards others because it benefits them in some way, or it's a safety net, and or they just don't want. They're scared to say how they really feel because they don't know how it's gonna. They don't know the repercussions. I mean, I don't know. I don't do that.
But the thing, my thing is like, but you're honoring like your values, your.
Yeah, people's values don't align with the people in the circle they run with sometimes.
I don't know.
That's a them problem though, not a us problem.
Anyways.
But anyway, I appreciate that, Paulina, and I appreciate that. And again, like I have very thick skin. Like I give two fucks if people like me or not. And as far as like the whole respecting, what I wanted to say was I don't like if people don't know me, for example, like your friends, like I don't know them or like I don't know these people. So I'm not going to demand you better respect me. I don't know them, right? I feel like it depends in the space we're in. Like, yeah, if we're sharing space, of course, like I'm going to respect you, you're going to respect me, but I don't walk around demanding it. Like, you know
I
what
don't
I'm
get that
saying?
vibe.
But then there is
Like-
a whole group of my friends that love Tati. So like there's a group,
Yeah.
the girls. It usually is the girls. And I've said this.
I
Like,
need you to get new girlfriends. I'm sorry if they're listening or watching. I'm gonna need you to get new girlfriends.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
just
I
hate
have
someone you
the-
don't
But
know.
then-
It's
I
so
have
weird.
the greatest girlfriend.
But you know
come,
what?
Come into my
no,
circle.
I'm talking
No,
about me. But the
I'm
thing is
saying
that
I
this,
love
but
mine.
I've realized that that's how
That's not how they should
that's
be.
a
though.
lot. That's not just them, but I've seen because I see it all the time. That's how a lot of
I don't
women
like your group-
in
your
their
women friends.
not just my friends. Like I see women in their own circles act like that, and for me, like I you know what it is. This is what I told somebody.
Tell me.
I check them first of all because I've said this. Somebody told me they've gone on vacations with girls and how like sometimes the girls be getting into it with each other.
Oh,
This is a
God.
whole different circle. I'm like, it's because you need a gay there. You need a gay there because look at
everybody.
a girl is not gonna let another girl check her. No,
Right.
and then a woman is not gonna let another a man check her. No, she needs a gay guy to check her. And once a gay guy checks her, a lot of times the response is different. That's just my opinion. Like they know how to like, okay, we're gonna talk about it, and at least you get that. But if you don't have a gay and you have a girl, then it's gonna be a whole fucking mess.
I mean, I guess I get it, but I feel like my girls and I can attest to that. We love the gays, but like you don't need a gay to handle that situation because I've gone on girl trips or shit. We've had like my best friend and I, Fiamma, had like an argument like for the first time ever in our whole friendship. But it literally lasted like a day, not even a day. We addressed it right then and
Can
there.
we know what it was? No,
It was like really like it wasn't even anything serious. Like it was
Yeah.
a big form of miscommunication and like the vibes were not matching. It was not important at all. But the point was she like we're all in a group chat and like we're all talking on the group chat, whatever. And then she side texts me. And she's like, hey, like, if you're free, can we have a phone call tomorrow? And then I was like, I was waiting for you to come. Because, like, I'm the type of person, like, some people need time, like, before you could, like, have a conversation. And some people want to handle it then and there. And I know Fiamma, she's a person that wants to process and really think it through. And I've learned from her, as of lately, to not react off of emotions and really process. Because
Really?
I want to confront you right now.
Me too.
But the problem is, like, my emotions are at a high and I may get out of character. So I choose to be logical and process so I could articulate my emotions in the way I best.
And let me tell you, she knows how to do it very well because I've read some of these messages.
Yeah. So with Fiamma.
Not with Fiamma. But
Yeah. So with Fiamma, like, it was kind of like I knew you were gonna come back. I just had to wait, you know. It was really cute. So then, like, I was like, okay, I love you, and she was like, I love you too, even though we were arguing. So then we had like a phone call the next day. We were on the phone for hours. We nipped it in the butt right away. It was fine. We took accountability for our parts. I apologize for anything that I came off the wrong way. And I think the problem with a lot of people is you're too proud to apologize or admit when you're wrong or take accountability. If you truly love someone and you respect them and you cherish the relationship, you will never be too proud. You will evaluate the situation and be like, damn, you know what? I could have went about this better. I'm so sorry if maybe you don't even agree with that and be like, you know what? I didn't see it from that perspective, but I understand and I love you and whatever I did to offend you, like I'm so sorry. There's ways to handle that.
Yes.
So like her and I, we didn't need a gay. Like we nipped it in the butt
and
right away. It was
and
good.
that was an exaggeration. You don't always see one.
What am I gonna do? Call up? Who am I gonna call?
But if you want a quick fix,
Nestor, I need you.
Right.
hey, if you want a quick fix, just call me.
Right?
No,
Bad
but
signal.
but that is like a mature way to handle it when it's like a mature friendship.
Yeah, that's.
I'm talking about
yeah.
some of these friendships where like you see all the time where like you can't just why can't you just do that? Like what you just did with Fiamma, why can't like some of these other friendships be like that? You know what I'm saying? Like I see it all the time.
I
So-
think it's a matter of character and just people's personalities. Really, like
so
I don't know.
When
Yeah.
girls are fighting with each other, unless I really gotta step in there, and I'll
girls
do
are
it.
fighting.
I'll let them fight. I'll let them fight because I'm
Girl
like you.
fight.
I'll address that. And to
Yeah.
some people, it might not be a big deal, but then even that's offensive to me. If something that to me was valuable, you didn't see it as a big deal, that's offensive to me.
I agree.
yeah.
Again, because that means they think little
They
about your
belittle- yeah.
relationship.
Right.
They
100%.
belittle you.
I agree.
Well, listen, to wrap up my affirmation,
Say.
all of this to say, never
Don't judge
judge
me.
a book by its cover. And sometimes first impressions aren't like maybe the best, or like maybe they just like weren't what you thought they would be. I know producer Marco and Tati's first time meeting.
Yeah, I did not like him. I said that like
You
5
did,
times on
yeah,
this
oh,
podcast.
yeah. Loud and proud. I mean, not really, but yeah, that's the thing. Like
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you really get to know people, and I think
course.
being on this podcast for a whole year, which is about to be our anniversary,
Crazy.
is like I think our listeners and just people who like maybe weren't a fan from day one, whether it could be any of us, you
Yeah.
know. And I do radio for a living, so like believe me, this is not my first rodeo
Yeah.
of people saying things or not being liked. Like
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like that's like my middle name probably is like not being liked, Paulina, and then they come around eventually. They always do, which is the funniest part. They always do.
Look, you
Yes.
She said they come
you
up.
may not like me,
Yes.
but your man might,
And the thing is that people are always
just
gonna
kidding.
have an opinion.
I'm kidding.
They are.
They're always
They
gonna have
are.
an opinion, and
And that's
Yeah.
okay. And that's okay.
That's fine.
But to be clear, my girl Tati should not have even been trying to be canceled the first day. Just saying. But okay. It's all good though. It's all good.
It's all good
It's
in
all
the hood.
good.
I still love
It's all
you
good
all.
in the hood.
It is.
Mwah.
That's
beso.
right.
Dame beso. Mwah. What
Mwah.
song is that?
I don't know.
No, isn't there a song? It's like, dame beso. Mwah.
Something.
Tokisha? Is it
Taka.
Tokisha?
Is it Tokisha?
Maybe.
Maybe it sounds
No, I feel
it's
like
given
it
to-
was, I don't know.
Or
Anyway.
that sound on TikTok that's like mwah, blocked.
Oh, no. See,
like that one.
I don't do blocked. Block's for cowards. But anyway.
Oh no, I'm learning blocked.
Marco?
Marco,
What?
affirmation.
Oh my God, 30 minutes in.
You're just giving them ammunition.
Blocks are for cowards. That's my affirmation.
Relax and
No,
balance.
that's not your
That is
affirmation.
good. That is good. Let him-
No, what's your
My affirmation is don't post things that aren't yours. So
Hey.
What?
because I feel like
happening?
I've seen people that just like post like okay, I saw someone that posted they were in a person's vehicle, like the passenger seat, right?
A passenger princess.
Passenger like
Oh,
showing
I
off
get
the
what he's
vehicle, and I'm
saying.
like, why? Like what? Why? Like
He's saying like somebody owns somebody.
it's like those
you're right.
those uncles that like go to the U.S. and like they position themselves in front of like a car.
Oh,
like
no.
they
Isn't
pose
that like the Bow Wow thing where he
Bow
was
Wow
in front of the
challenge?
private jet?
He was
Yeah.
in the private jet.
Yeah, but he
that's my
was-
affirmation. Don't do the Bow Wow challenge.
Wait, you saw somebody post that they were like in someone else's car?
That happens
Yeah,
all the
they were
time.
like in
I
someone-
see it all the time.
they
But
were
how do you know though? Like,
Because they like, why would you
We
be in
know.
the
No,
passenger
there's a-
seat of your own car?
One of my so
I mean, I
one of
don't
my
know.
clients has like a couple Lamborghinis, and I see people always like,
Are you talking about who I think you are?
and a lot of people post his Lamborghinis, and that's what he means.
And I'm just like, bro, like, I don't know why you did that.
You know what this reminds me of? I don't know why. Like, you know how it's funny when they say, like, if you go to a nice restaurant and the girl posts the food and the guys are like
Oh,
trying to get in
yeah.
the picture, like, post me, I'm paying for it.
Yeah.
And the girl's posting
I-
everything except who she's with.
I seen it more the other way around.
What?
Guys posting?
Guys posting and not posting the girl.
Really?
Yeah,
Ooh.
because they cock block themselves by doing that. But that's probably a different reason why.
like they're not trying to show their girl off. Or
Oh, yeah.
if it's
I
even
mean,
their girl.
I get that.
Well, if
Those
it's
are
not their
people-
girl, then yeah.
Right, they're not going to post
Right,
her.
it's not their girl.
I've seen people that have.
Ooh. Listen, I want to go into your life.
Tea.
All these people
No,
you hang
let's
out
let,
with.
Hey.
let me
You
not
know what?
get in
The 1 year
trouble.
anniversary, we're gonna read Nestor's DMs.
Oh
That's
my
what we're
God.
gonna read.
Honestly.
Live on air.
That'd be sick.
That's crazy.
I think
no.
everyone's waiting for that one.
Oh my God.
Awesome. So
Next segment.
I know, right? So
Wendy Williams.
we are gonna dive back into the Wendy Williams conversation. So you guys kind of kicked that off an episode previous to this. And I finally watched it and caught up. I watched the Hulu version. And there's like a lot to unpack.
That's a lot.
And I know you wanted to bring up a lot of things too, Nestor, in regards to like Wendy Williams and kind of where she's at today. Mental health. And I know she talks a lot about that too. So I did watch it.
What are your
And
thoughts?
My thoughts are truly like my respect. I don't know if this is like intentional, like the way this was made, but like my respect for her, I think also as a media personality, radio girl, like that's what I am. I think my respect for her has just gone up so much. Like this woman, she really is a trailblazer. I didn't recognize or like really see how much of one that she is until I watched this. Because I really didn't follow her career. I mean, I wasn't really even born yet. I think I was like very tiny when she was like in New York and all this. But like really like getting to know her story of like she was like syndicated and she did this and she did that. I thought was like so incredible. And like she was what they call a shock jock. So a shock jock is it's not really like a thing as much anymore for a couple of reasons. Number one,
Yeah, tell us. I don't know what a shock
jock.
is.
So it's like the Howard Sterns. It's the crazy radio personalities who literally can get away with anything, but people love it.
Oh yeah,
And they tune into
somebody
it.
does that.
Someone what?
Yeah, somebody does that.
That I know?
We talked with somebody who has a podcast does
Oh,
that.
yes. So the shock jock value thing is like you basically go on the air and you say crazy shit, and pretty much with no repercussion is what it is. And like it was very popular years ago, and like everyone tries to do it or tried at one point. I mean, it doesn't really work for everyone. It doesn't stick, right? I'm not like this crazy radio girl, but like, and a lot of times too, you can tell when it's authentic and when it's not. You have to be very like unapologetic. You have to be very brave to be a shock jock. And like, honestly, it worked so much better too in like the 80s or whatever, 90s, because radio was so different back then too.
More free. Like you wouldn't get canceled for everything.
Being a shock jock today will get you mad canceled, or at least shit talked on. You know what I mean? It does work for some people though. They get mad views, they get subscribers, whatever they're looking for. Like they'll still get it. I do think a lot of shock jocks, I see it in my industry, they make shit up, and not like rumors, but like they'll just say something just to say something. Like they'll literally be like, I don't know, like women belong in the kitchen, and like they will stand on that, knowing damn well they don't believe that, and knowing damn well like that's gonna get the views and the clicks and the comments, the engagement. So shock jock is like, it's kind of like a old school term, but we still see
Like
it
a
today.
big gaslighter.
Kind of. I mean, like Howard Stern, which I respect the shit out of too. I mean, he was a huge shock jock. But like a lot of times it did work for certain people. I think the top three that I would say are Howard Stern, Wendy Williams was for sure, especially like looking at her old stuff. I'm like, oh my God. Like the questions that you would ask, like today when we get asked like to ask questions or do interviews, like they'll be like, do not ask about this. Like I interviewed Kelly Rowland 2 weeks ago, and I was told I wasn't even gonna ask her. They were like, no Destiny's Child questions. A shock jock would have not gave a shit and asked those questions. I don't think that was my place to ask. This wasn't even about music or Destiny. It was about a movie. So like, I didn't feel like asking that, but I also didn't want to piss off the people. So like, I was like, no. But it's very interesting because Wendy Williams would have absolutely asked. You know what I mean? So it's like for me, Wendy Williams, top three. Wendy Williams, Howard Stern, and Charlamagne the God. Top three shock jocks, in my opinion.
I could see that.
That at least like have made their career boom from
yeah.
that. And like now they're all three of them are like, for their own reasons, are a little more settled. They're not the wild boys they used to be when it comes to that.
Yeah.
And they both have very successful, all three of them have very successful careers, but obviously in very different places today. But yeah, that to me, it's like the shock jock thing is being used a little bit differently now.
I think I accidentally shock jocked the first episode. Is that a thing? An accidental
I shock
one?
jocked it like it's a
I
verb.
accidentally did it. I'm sorry.
You're so funny.
You're not sorry.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not. No, but like, I mean, honestly, I think Wendy Williams, like, it's just so crazy because it's interesting too, because I think we mentioned in our last episode of her and the way that she is and everything she's like done in her career. one of you guys had said that she feels like it's karma, right? Or we asked
that other people
Are
are
saying that.
saying that like this is her getting her karma.
So she mentions that in her own documentary when she had her 2 miscarriages at 5 months. And she told her mother or whoever was near her at that time, she says, is this karma? And this was like when she didn't even have kids. She was, what was it, 1995 maybe? Like, so she's been experiencing these karma cycles,
Yeah.
if this is what it is, forever. You know what I'm
I've
saying?
never heard of that karma cycle.
The karma
That's
cycle.
crazy.
I don't know, like whatever you'd call it. So I thought it was very interesting because she's I don't know, she's always been problematic, right, to the eyes of viewers and like celebrities or whatever. But it's interesting because the shock jock thing worked for her because celebrities would always come to her for interviews because at that time that was like one of the only outlets you had.
And I think that there's that perspective of her because she's a woman.
Of course.
She's even like
An African American woman
yeah,
at
she's
that.
even more
Yes.
portrayed as that. But I was talking to my client about this because I do hair. You guys know that. I was talking to my client. He also said, well, it's because she was, and then he called it the B word. I'm like, yeah, but you want to look at it like that, but also I feel like for me, she would. I mean, it is cheeseman, right? It's cheeseman at
It
the end
is
of the day.
Yeah, it's cheesy.
But she was entertaining with it, and I
Yeah.
think it's something that, like you said, like she, like time to time, she would own up to it, and I think whether we wanna dehumanize her, like she would go back to that, like, man, am I doing the right thing? I'm thinking, when going through her miscarriages, but I don't know. For me, I just love her. I think she was such a, like, she paved the way for a lot of women that are doing radio personalities or just in general, not
She
even
has.
like for girls.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Very interesting. And what about the mental health component of it? Because you did bring that up last time too.
Wait. Okay, so my opinion with this whole thing, because that was regarding like the dementia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
got you.
that was more with that because
Like
a lot.
medically.
Yeah, because I feel like, so everyone, if you've seen the documentary, you see that she's in a very bad place mentally.
Yeah.
In the documentary, you see a lot of her like not being there, and I was saying that I think what's causing that dementia, because people are saying is because the alcohol, in which I feel like
Yeah, alcohol-induced dementia. They call it.
alcohol-induced dementia. I feel like that is one of the reasons. She did do a lot of drugs, but also I feel like some part of her also is like in shock, like to the things that have happened in the past years. And I was talking to actually one of my other clients about this, and he's like, dude, you're not a psychologist. How are you diagnosing this? And I'm like, I'm not diagnosing it because obviously I'm not like a professional in that area, but I am someone that has gone through stuff. And I feel like human to human, I feel like I've gone through things that I feel like in those moments have left me like in shock. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's been a lot of people can say like, well, I've gone through that and that didn't happen to me. But I feel like things affect people differently.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And I think for me, this is just my opinion. You guys can think whatever you think, or you could think I'm a dumbass for thinking like this, but I don't give a fuck. This is what I think.
No.
I really believe that her breakup with her boo, caused that. Like,
Oh my God, I
she
agree.
gave a man, like, basically brought him on in the middle of where she was like at her best.
Her
and
prime. She
and
literally said my career was popping.
she was gonna, she was blowing up at that time.
Yeah.
She brings somebody in, just think about it, and then that person starts having a whole ass relationship with somebody else when you're so vulnerable, not in every single area, because not only now was this guy her boo, but now you're her manager, and now she's let you in every single part of her life. And so imagine that just crashes out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? To some people, it's like, no, that shouldn't affect you that way. But I think it does. We talked about it in the last episode and we had to cut it because I just feel like, at times we don't do certain things justice. And that's one of the topics that I really wanted to kind of like just share a little bit more.
Yeah,
for sure.
I remember like, and this, I remember when I was younger, I was like about 11, 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I was made to have believed that I was in a relationship with someone that was like almost 30.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And so, and it was somebody that was, I shouldn't have been in a relationship with, you know. And also I was a little kid, but I remember in that time, one, I was being molested. Two, I wasn't in this relationship that I shouldn't have. And when this person broke it off with me, I remember like I felt like I was in shock. I felt like I felt like I was going crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And because of that, that's where my opinion with her dementia, or not just dementia, but to me, like if you look at the documentary, she's like in shock, you know. And not only that, imagine adding on top of that, like everybody's saying what they want to say about her,
Yeah.
you know. And then on top of that, adding more workloads, or the loss for sure, but more workloads when she's already experiencing like this breakup, this betrayal. Betrayal can make you lose it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, man, I feel for her in that way. And so yeah, like, is she getting, you know, maybe karma? I feel like yeah, but also it's I try to put myself in her place, you know. And
Of course.
I feel like what I really loved about the documentary is seeing China. You know,
Blac Chyna.
Black China has gone through a lot of shit.
Yeah,
and
She's going
Yes.
by Angela. What's
By
her
Angela,
last,
sorry,
What's
by
her last
Angela.
name?
Tony?
I don't know,
her
but
mom
she
is
had
Turkish,
this
right?
like, you know, she is different. She's
Yeah.
rebranding herself.
She is, yeah, Angela.
Yeah.
Yeah.
she's just in a different place, and you can tell that everybody is trying to like get something from her, whether it's her family trying to like get her to being back to normal. That itself is like kind of like you're wanting something from her, whether you want to admit it or not. Wanting someone to be good right away is also requiring something of someone that they can't give you at that moment. That is still a requirement. Then other people in her life are requiring her to like wanting her to get these jobs. I think something that I really loved about this, that the Lifetime documentary, was you can see her coming in and you could just sense like such a love from Angela, right?
Oh yeah.
Such a love, like
No, that was
she,
really
like,
sweet.
She literally
they hugged each.
she hugs her and she's like her tia. That's basically what she was saying. And she looks at her and she just says she looks
Says,
at.
I love you.
But what's crazy is that she sees that
Yeah.
she's not stupid, and she doesn't look at Wendy like she's all together, because she's not. It's a
Yeah.
clear thing. Everybody else can see that, and it's like still requiring something from her. But Blac Chyna or Angela looks at her and she just sees that and still says like, I love you. Like, I love you.
Yeah.
Everything's gonna be okay. And I feel like that's the only energy that you need in moments like that.
Yeah. To add on a little bit to what you're saying, I agree completely with, and I think that's a great way to look at it. That I also like agree this concept of what happened with her husband, like betraying her. And I feel like she just had loss on top of loss on top of loss. And I feel like because there were so much like back to back, she never had time to grieve each of those instances correctly, right? So like what happened with her husband and him having a baby on her, like you have to grieve a loss of a relationship, a divorce, right? Losing your manager. So it's more, you have to grieve all of that. Then she lost her mother, and she was very close with her mother. So then that's another loss that requires grieving. And grieving is not like a 1 day, 2 month thing, right? It's different for everybody. And then COVID happened. And then shit with her job started like, she was not okay, and it was affecting her money and her job. So I feel like it was so much back to back that she didn't have time to like say, forget work right now. Like, I'm not okay. I need to deal with my grief in various ways. Right. And they said like during those times she took to alcohol. That was her way of coping. That was like a coping mechanism based on what they said. And I do genuinely believe, also going to what you were saying, that she just didn't look right. Like, loneliness, I feel like, is a slow killer. Especially people who are ill or just not like safe within themselves. When I say safe, meaning like they feel like they're trapped. They feel like maybe they're going crazy. They don't feel safe within their own mind. I feel like she needs more love around her, not people who want things from her, demand like, you need to hurry up so you can get back to work. You need to hurry up for this. And I feel like she talks about how lonely she is.
Yeah,
and
she
that's
does.
the part that breaks my heart. Like,
She's like,
genuinely.
she says, I have no friends.
Which is so sad because, you know, again, that gives us this idea of like what you see online is not what is reality. Like, you think, oh, she's famous. She knew all these people. How could she be lonely? But it's like, that's one of the very few people you see that like actually go to check on her genuinely. You know?
That's a good point. That makes me think too, like she really gave everything for this industry if she has no friends and like she doesn't have that support group, because I do believe like your tribe, your support group is everything, especially in times like this.
And that's what I think about when people are judging her line of work.
Yeah.
Like I tend to look I want to look at it with her respect for her job. I don't look at her just like, oh, she's a big ass chismosa and she gives us the tea, so we have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And like, I look at it like she put in work, and that was
Yeah.
gonna be my other affirmation. Like, it's gonna cost you everything. You know what I'm saying? That was the other affirmation I was gonna say in the beginning. You can literally tell from her that she gave it her everything, and there's very few people that do that.
So this was gonna be my affirmation before I stole somebody's Facebook post. But it says, a friend walks in when everyone else walks out.
Ooh.
And I feel like that plays a role into this. Like, the people who genuinely love her, or in general, like whoever's watching, like when shit hits the fan, it's the people who walk in and check on you. Those are your real people.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
And that's exactly what we saw in Lifetime in that series.
Do you guys feel then, because that sort of brings us into like a topic that Nestor, you have mentioned before about perceiving, you know, people on social media, right? And it's like what you see and all of that. So it's like, you know, are we really ourselves on social? Like, are we only showing our best sides? Like, are we showing the truth? Like, do you think that a lot of us struggle with like some form of like identity? I don't know if it's a crisis, but like an identity issue when it comes to social media because of like what we choose to show? Like,
I think, I mean, I could only speak from my perspective, but I feel like for me, it's directly connected to my business and how I make my living. And so,
yeah, which you're doing a great job at, by the way.
thank you.
It's not easy to connect business and social media.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
learning that it's really hard.
Yeah,
It is.
So I tend to like, there's things that I post that I'm very, whether it seems like I'm just posting whatever, I'm trying to be very intentional with everything. Like, I don't post any club things. I don't post
Yeah.
any bar things. And that's just how I am with that. I do love to post like when I'm happy for my friends that are doing something in business. To people would say like, oh, well, that's only for self gain on your end. No, it's I'm celebrating somebody else the way I would want them to celebrate me.
Yeah, on your platform.
And a lot of times I try to show part of in business. I try to show people that that I'm relatable.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
how do I show that? By being a little bit vulnerable with the things that I believe in. And so, but I feel like there's like when it comes to social media, there's certain platforms that I don't post everything, and then there's certain platforms that I post a lot. But
Yeah, I get that, yeah.
but yeah, I think definitely and then when you're someone of, I feel like that has more to lose and than other people. And I wouldn't say than other people. I don't know how what I'm trying to say, but there's people that don't like give a fuck, and so they'll post whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like, to me, again, like that's so directly connected to my business that I really need to guard that, you know.
And I feel like, honestly, like this podcast is what like pushed me. as far as like separating the two, but then also mixing I'm like a walking oxymoron sometimes. But the point I was trying to say is, remember when we first made this podcast and we were putting in Instagram handles, and I was like, "Ooh, my page is private. Like, I'm a
Yeah.
teacher. I don't need people like to be seeing my information." And just like, cause I'm just naturally like, I'm very silly. Like, if you see my videos, like, I'm silly. Like, I'll dance in the car, I'll karaoke. Like, it's not that I'm posting anything bad, illegal. I'm just so silly. And sometimes it's like, because of the titles I hold, some people may see that and be like, that's different.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
I
Crazy.
created Talk with Tati specifically for the podcast, right? But then in this last year, I've realized, like, I like, you talked about this, like, you don't like the word influencer, like I agree, like, I don't think I'm an influencer, but I do think like I've given myself or built a platform, which is like Talk with Tati. And I want that page and what I put on there to represent my morals, my beliefs, like things I value, things that I'm passionate about. So for me, it wasn't until recently that I felt like I could still be who I am in both of those platforms, but just showcase the professional, passionate side in Talk with Tati. Versus like my private page, which just has like friends and family, like not just randoms.
Yeah.
Like that's more the silly side of me. Like you see more like the daughter side, the best friend side, the dancer side. And I think both are a beautiful representation of who I am because I'm still staying authentic and true. It's just one is for a different audience than the other.
Like Hannah
you know?
Montana.
And when it comes,
Yeah, I always say as a teacher, I'm the real life Hannah Montana.
the teacher,
I'm the teacher Hannah Montana. I've always said that.
and what it's not that I don't like the word influencer just because
Yeah.
I feel like I want to always remain like me. But I
But
feel,
you have influence.
but that's
Yeah,
what I was gonna say.
exactly.
That doesn't mean that I don't believe that each and every one of us has influence, and what you do with it is very important, you know. And so, but I just don't like that word, you know. I don't.
I know. It has like a really icky feel
Yeah,
sometimes.
it's
I'm
very
like, come on.
cringy to me. And also, I don't know. I just want to always be like a fellow Chicagoan. You know what I mean?
No, for
You
sure.
are.
I want
Producer Marco, what do you think when it comes to social media and like the identity of the person?
I think what people post on social media is for you to see. So like if someone is posting something, it's what they want to show the world. I also think that if people post a lot on social media, they're unhappy with their lives.
That's a really good popular theory, though.
Yeah, I think that
I'm gonna debate that.
we can debate it all day.
She don't agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't agree.
Because I think people are looking for fulfillment in something that's empty. It's like going hungry and eating empty calories. Because truthfully, the reactions you get on social media are not genuine.
I don't agree with that. I would just only say not if the person posts a lie. It's not what I'm saying. It's what you're showing me. If you're
Yeah.
showing me your what
Yeah.
is that word? Like I'm almost supposed to say Kid Cudi. What is that word where it's like cookie cutter, not Kid Cudi?
Oh, like your life is
You're
perfect.
artist?
Look
Yeah,
at what I
not Kid
have.
Cudi.
Look at all these things. Like,
yes, like I know
Yeah.
people who post like, and again, like this is not like you don't have to show your kids having meltdowns. I'm not saying that.
No,
but when
right.
you show your kid like being this perfect angel all day, or you're showing yourself even going through like this beautiful
Yeah.
day, it's like not one thing pissed you off today. And you don't have
Yeah,
to show
no,
me
I get it. Yeah.
a bad thing. Like you have to show me like I don't know, like the dog shit you stepped in. Like you have to show me that. But it's like this cookie cutter life, and I'm just like, okay, but like what really happened? That's where I go.
I agree with the first part that you say that.
I forgot what I said.
what you want people. You
That
post what you want people to see. For sure,
Yeah.
me
But
too.
I don't believe that you post it because you
You
have.
need validation.
Yeah,
Well, I
or
think
you
it's
have
different
nothing
because,
else
like,
to do.
for
Yeah.
you, Nestor, like, you're posting because of your business, right? Like, you're showing off your clients and your work. And, like, for the boss here, she's posting because of, like, her job and her other stuff that goes on. But, like, similar to what Paulina said, if you're posting, like, only how great your life is, then your life
Yeah,
is
I
not
think
great.
that's different versus posting a lot. And
Well-
coming from a person who posts a lot
do
on
post a lot.
Snapchat and stuff, like for me, again, like it's coming from a place of being silly. If you look at my stuff, like a lot of it is silly, or like of my family, to be honest, or like things we're doing. But it's not necessarily like, look at this cookie cutter. Just the other day I posted, I was going crazy. I was like, yo, I'm spazzing out. I could have sworn a bird shit in my head, and but a bird didn't shit in my head. And then I thought I accidentally threw my phone in the garbage can, and I didn't. And I was just like laughing at myself. And like I wanted to share that experience because I thought it was hilarious. So clearly that's not cookie
And
cutter.
relatable.
And it's relatable.
Yeah.
It is relatable. Yeah, I think it's interesting because like with social media, I definitely feel like people also, I think, want to present a certain image. Like I do have a coworker that posts certain content, and it's great content. I love it. But I'm like, okay, like this is the era you're in. You want people to like see you as like a hot girl, which you are a hot girl. You want to be seen as someone who like wants to normalize marijuana. Love that. Like, but like when the content is constantly
I feel like
that.
I always know who she's talking about.
I don't think you do at all. Actually, if you
feel
do,
like-
I'd be really surprised.
I feel like I
I'd feel like you would know my life very well if you knew who I was talking about.
Just following you around.
I know, right? And it's no shade to her, but it's like I've learned like how do I phrase this? One thing I've learned in this industry is like when you just say something, and I'm speaking to like radio or podcasting, like the more I say something, the more the world's gonna believe it. I could sit here and be like, guys, like my fucking face is fucking purple, like, and eventually I
To
say
be like,
it enough
you know
times,
what? I see the
you'll
lilac.
be like, you know what? I actually might see that. Or people always associate that with me because I'm just constantly repeating it. So I think with social media, if I'm constantly posting content that might say like, I don't know, like this and that, and or that I'm like this big party drinker girl, like, and let's just say I'm not, like, clearly I'm fucking 9 months pregnant, like, but if I was always posting about like, oh, look at me holding a beer or whatever, you're gonna associate that with me.
Yeah, and also I remember one time when I first started, I would post myself a lot, right? And I remember somebody close to me said like, "Oh my God, you're so into yourself." And then I thought about it. At first, initially, I was like, "No, I'm not." But then I was like, "What if I am? What if I am into myself? What is so wrong with being into yourself?"
Feeling myself.
There's nothing wrong with promoting yourself. And I told her, I'm like, since you're not cheering me on, I have to cheer myself on.
Well, I think
that's
also
okay.
like social media, because like I saw this on TikTok where it's like this past Valentine's Day, like a lot of people felt like they had to go all out for Valentine's Day on TikTok.
Those
Dude,
TikToks.
it
And-
was like another level this year.
It was bad
And
this
the
year.
woman's like, social media really got to me because it made me feel like my great relationship wasn't shit because I wasn't getting 1,000 flowers 2 weeks before Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And it's like that's how I've never been part of like the social media craze. Like I've never shared, like I think my last post was like announcing the birth of Madeline, which was over a year ago. So like I don't post. I do my story sometimes. Like today I posted something, but I don't see validation in it. And so many people were swept up this year where they're like, my man bought me 55 flowers 2 days before and like a whole car, and like it's like, okay. And I felt like that got to a lot of people for some reason this year. And like everyone was just doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it.
Yeah.
And like what did that do? Like that just made you feel better about your relationship? Like
No,
I
it's a
don't
good question. Like, what's the point? And sometimes I'm guilty of it too.
Yeah.
But I definitely don't do it that much. But I know what you're referring to because I saw the same TikTok or just like my algorithm was talking about that. Another thing too, I want to add really quick before I
Yeah,
make
go
my
ahead.
point is that people were like, the longer the post,
I said
the
that.
more issues in the
I
relationship.
said that like
1000%.
way
And I
back in
hate
the
to
day.
be that person because I don't believe that necessarily. I
either. I
don't
don't
believe
believe
it. But at the same time, like
low-key do
you're
believe
not
it. Come
gonna.
on.
I was
I
gonna
said
say
that a
I'm
long
not gonna
time
write
ago.
a whole paragraph for Javi. He's lucky if he gets a shout out. Like no, but like I also like see like when people say certain phrases like we've been through hell and back. It's like why gotta be hell and back? Like, you know what I mean? Not to be mean, but it's like you're kind of putting your business out there. Clearly there was
Yeah.
something going on.
I find it funny how like we
Read into it?
We say we don't give a fuck, and I really don't give a fuck. But then you give a fuck about it that
Yeah.
much. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
you don't give a fuck about it. It's just we are observant, like we notice it. And like back to your point, whatever, it's like, yeah, like what is that for? Like to post like that my man bought me like all these roses. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I actually got like asked one time too because I didn't post on social. I didn't post the roses I got because it's fucking like why would I do that? And it was for Valentine's Day. and like someone came to my house and like was like, oh, like you got flowers. I'm like, bitch, I'm married. It's like I got flowers. Like, you know what I mean?
This is regular decular.
Right. I'm like, this is a regular Tuesday, but like, I just don't post it so
Must
people
be
think
nice.
it's not happening, which is so frustrating because that's just life. I'm
Yeah.
like, hello?
I will say this though. If somebody sends me flowers, I'm gonna post them.
Oh, that's
No,
different.
and that's
But
okay. We've all done it,
but
yeah.
I'm saying I don't think.
We've all done it, but you're not
But
gonna
I
post
think-
every week. I promise you,
No,
you're
Right.
not.
No, but like I
But
guess
she's
for me,
not because you're just not.
But I'm saying people are allowed to post whatever they want
yeah,
to post.
I guess for me,
They are.
yeah. I guess for me, it's like I think I'm posting it because I'm like, wow, they're so pretty. I don't think I'm gonna post like who they're from, why I got them. Like I think you
But if
control
you were in a
the
relationship
narrative.
or like even married or whatever, like, and I'm not saying married people can't post, but I'm saying like once something becomes almost like a norm to you or just
Yeah, I
something, you know what I mean?
understand that,
You're not gonna
yeah.
be like every week, like
you can't. It's your
weekly
prerogative.
flower. You can.
Yeah. I
And
can
that's
and
okay
I
to
will.
do.
Like I
Damn
would
it, he
get.
can. He will.
I can and I will, and if I don't want to, then I don't want to.
You don't want to.
All right,
You
well,
can't make me.
We'll end on that note. You
Oh.
can't. You can't make Nestor.
You
Nope.
can't.
But if I want to, I will.
But if he
I
wants
hope you
to, he
do.
will.
You all keep posting your. I love in being entertained by all of you guys on social. So keep posting.
I love watching your. You know what? I love watching Paulina answer
struggle?
all those questions.
Oh, those damn questions every
I
Wednesday.
love it. I'm addicted
That
to
game
Oh,
eats
yeah.
my ass.
Are you
dude.
Wait, on the
addicted
Fred
to-
show?
Yes,
What?
I'm
On the Fred
addicted
show?
to those.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
I fucking
Those
like
are
that
so funny.
I
Like,
actually wa-
I laugh.
I actually wanted
I
to like
literally laugh.
incorporate that here.
I'm like,
No,
Kalina, you
I-
have to know this
no.
question.
I really
No.
find like I feel like you would ask her real good questions.
I feel
I feel
like
like Marco
Trivia?
should answer them because he's like the one that's like a Google in his head
Yeah,
sometimes.
you are a walking Google.
Unless we reverse it and we give him like pop questions.
That's what I was saying.
Maybe
like,
that is a segment.
hey,
We
Like,
need
give
he
me pop
answers
questions.
the
You'd be
questions.
surprised. I know my pop.
You know your shit. You know your
Yeah.
shit. But thank you guys for tuning in. Before we go, though, really quick, we have a special announcement about something that we're doing.
Oh, I was like, we do.
Girl, I hope you do.
Wait, which about what we're doing, right?
Yes,
What we're
collectively
doing.
we're
Okay,
doing.
we do. So as you guys know, the 1 year anniversary is coming up.
What?
So,
It's been a year already?
In order to celebrate, we gotta have a party, y'all. We had a
Yes.
premiere party. Now we're gonna have a 1 year anniversary
Where are we
party.
having it?
We're having it at Zoe's patio
Like-
because we are all born Southsiders.
Well, I can't wait for them wings.
South side,
Okay.
so we got to represent. So Zoe's patio, we are gonna have it April 18th. So we're gonna have a little dancing, a little sippy sip.
Maybe
they
a-
have food.
Maybe a couple collaborations. We shall see.
We
Yes.
shall see.
How fun.
But save the date, April 18 at Zoe's. I believe it's starting at 7:30.
Yes.
So we will see you all
Yes.
there.
Every single one of you.
Every single one of these viewers who love me and hate me and want to rub Paulina's fake belly because she ain't going to have it no more.
I probably won't have it.
Is not going to be there that day. She's going to have a drink with us.
Yes, I am.
If you want to touch Nestor's hair because now it's so luscious and
It
beautiful.
is luscious.
And if you just
Before
want to
it
look up
falls
at
off.
Marco because he's so damn tall,
Right.
you have the opportunity to
there.
do that April 18th and celebrate with
That's
us.
right. We can't wait to see you. And make sure to follow us on social at Paulina Rowe
At Talk with Tati.
At the bra, bro.
and at Never Too Shy Pod. We love you. Bye.
Bye.